Hello friends, and welcome back. This is the Eel Castle Cup tournament, and we are in round 6. And let's see how this goes. So let's take a look at some decks. So first, let's take a look at my deck here. You've seen it a bunch of times now, so if you want to look more, you can just pause the video and look. And there is a Deckteck that I made earlier. But let's go to my opponent's deck. My opponent's name is Tim, and he is playing something like the deck. There are Suchis in his main deck and not Zelda Angels. There are Abyss, there are GMD Tomes, there are the Good White Removal, and a bunch of restricted cards. And I said a bunch of restricted cards, but he only has 2 Moxes. So yeah, not all the restricted cards. He do has the blue power. Yeah. Okay, so not fully powered up. So this should be interesting. So let's go to game number 1. Alright, game number 1. Let's see what we got to work with here. Okay, I see a Mana Drain, Lightning Bolt, Lotus, Demonic Tutor. That is great. Roll the die, and I go first. And here you can see my opponent's hand. There's a Sword Disenchant, a Mox, and some lands. So So I only have the Black Lotus for black mana to cast the Demonic Tutor, to search for an Ancestral perhaps. But let's just play a Soul Ring. The Lotus. Playing the Lotus so I can use my Mana Drain if I play something really bad. There's a Disenchant on my Soul Ring. So here I'm thinking a bit about it, and that of course gives out a read that I perhaps have a counter spell. And sacking the Lotus to cast Demonic Tutor and then get an Ancestral isn't an awesome play, because I'm using 2 cards to get 3 cards. But then again, I don't have anything to use that Lotus for. If the Soul Ring was still there, I could have gone perhaps for a Brain Geyser or something. There, casting it. And that's 3 cards. And there's a Chaos Orb. So then I casted the Strip Mine. Takes out his Tundra, because the Chaos Orb can take out land. So perhaps I can Mana Screw him. There's a City of Brass. Ooh, and there is a Mind Twist. That is huge. But doesn't have black mana. So here I'm keeping up double blue instead of playing Chaos Orb. And my opponent doesn't play anything. So now I can cast Chaos Orb while holding up Mana Drain. Another factory for my opponent here into a Flower Stone. There you have there is a black mana. So now I can cast a Mind Twist for 4. But there is a Mana Drain from Tim. So that's huge. And here he puts its Mana Drain on the table with a number 5 on it. So he can remember that he has 5 mana in his first main phase, and I really like that, and I'm going to start using that trick. So we cast a Fellow Stone and activating his factories. Fellow Stone for me as well. There's a mana rock that can tap for any color that your opponent's land can produce. I have a mana drain and a lightning bolt in my hand. My opponent just passed the turn. I was thinking about activating my Chaos Orb. When you activate a Chaos Orb, your opponent can respond with an instant and destroy it. So that's always like a dance when to activate it and all that. I'll put my factory in the front. That is also always good to make sure that your opponent can see your factories. And there is a balance. I have 3 cards. I can cast some of them, and he has 3 cards, so looks like I'm going for the mana drain. And my opponent only has 3 lands, so I would lose 2 lands, so that would be pretty bad. So using 2 of my mana drain mana. No, I didn't use them. So it just passed the turn. And this is like the waiting game. Who is going to do something first? A lot of removal, and there is a Suchi. So I am the aggressor in this match. It looks like I'm playing against the deck, so I can't just sit and wait. I have to try to do something here. And of course it's very likely that he has something. So I'm holding up double blue, but as you can see, I don't have a counter spell. And there's a Mind Twist. Okay, so at least I can respond here. I can cast a Disenchant and I can cast a Lightning Bolt. Let's hope I do that. It's so classic when both players are just drawing cards and loading up. Like the first player who do something often ends up getting destroyed. So I lose 2 swords, and I kind of lost the lightning bolt because just doing 3 damage isn't great. But then again, a counter spell, that would have been nice against that Mind Twist. Okay, so he's attacking with both of them. That means he has some removal. And there it is. Let's try to counter that. And he has a Disenchant as well. So my factory. So here I could activate my Chaos Orb. My opponent is tapped out, and I think that would be a good play. But I chose not to. Now, I was talking about earlier, here my opponent was tapped out, so it's really safe to activate my Chaos Orb. And once again, he attacks for 4. I need to use my orb. And here I do it. But I kind of I'm really feeling I should have done that 2 rounds earlier. So I'm down to 8, my opponent is on 13. So I'm down to 6, and there's a gem at home. Now the deck can just go crazy. Or at least outdraw me. So he activates his factory. I have a lightning bolt for it. And he has 4 mana to activate his book. Probably at the end of my turn. Ooh, a time walk. Tapping 2 mana for another Fallow Stone. And that's a factory. Activating his book, taking 2 damage. So he has 7 mana. I see a fireball in his hand, so he can cast fireball for 6. But as you can see, I'm holding a land in my hand, so that could be a counter spell. So that's why you try to keep a card in your hand, just so you make it a bit more hard for your opponent. Divine Offering on my factory, so I cast a Serra Angel. No, I don't have double blue, so I guess this is a good spot to cast your fireball. Doing some counting, the end is near, boom! So let's talk sideboarding. So I'm taking out my burn cards, I take out lightning bolts, take out fireball, I do remove the balance, and I'll take in 2 Armageddons. They're great, 2 Sages and 2 Divine Offerings. So let's go to the next one. So game number 2. Let's see. Mox Factory, Ancestral, Serra Angel, Regrowth, and the City of Brass. So this is a fine hand. On the play. Oh, it was a mulligan. Okay. Yeah, and my opponent has a Demonic Tutor. And some white removal. Okay, right away, Ancestral Recall. And I do take 1 damage from City of Brass. Okay, so I'm getting better. That is good for those of you who has been following this tournament from the start. It started out really rough, but I'm kind of feeling I'm playing a bit better now. But the first rounds was just painful to watch. Divine Offering. Great start for me here. So I have a Regrowth, I can cast that to get my Ancestral back. I'm very close to being able to cast Serra Angel. There's a Suchi, I have a Sage. So a lot of good options there. So I could go for Regrowth and Sage. So many options. Or just casting a Suchi, or going for regrowth into Ancestral. Okay, so I start out with regrowth. And my opponent is thinking. And there's some mana drain. Okay. So then there's a Sage. And the Sage can sacrifice artifacts to draw a card. So for example, if my opponent is trying to disenchant one of my artifacts, I can sack it in response. And that's great value. And here's the Demonic Tutor. We saw he had it in his opening hand. So probably an Ancestral. That is the go-to card. There's the Ancestral, yeah. And a sword. Okay, so you might have noticed that the video speed is a bit slower than I usually do. So this video is only 25% faster than normal speed, so they're a bit longer. So that gives me some more room to talk about plays, since we have this hand cam and all that. Normally I do increase the speed by 50%. That's a disenchant on my Fallow Stone. I do have a mana drain. And I want to cast my Serra Angel and my Suchi, so I really need that Fallow Stone. And my opponent picks up that I really want my Fallow Stone, and he has a counter spell. So that's really bad. Okay, but Tundra, that's a great top deck. And a Suchi for my opponents as well. And a sword. So let's see if I can draw the 5th land. Oh yes, that's perfect. Now I can just slam the Angel. Another play would be Psionic Blasting the Suchi and then attack for 2. But when your opponent is tapped out, then he can't counter it. So yeah, it is the right play. And another Sword to Plowshare. That is annoying. Okay, so I think we're talking about life totals here. The Sage and the Suchi should have been removed from game and not in my graveyard. So that's a 3rd Sword to Plowshare he got. Oh, and another Suchi. Oh, this game started so well. Now we're under a tremendous pressure. Psionic Blast deals with one of them, and attack attack for 2. If you're not going to block, you should attack. And that's a good rule in Magic, or a tip. So what did I draw here? Disenchant my factory. Top decking Tundra. Down to 10 life. Team is at 8. More mana. Not what we need. As always, let's keep this 1 land in my hand. Try to pretend we have something. Down to 6. And a fireball. And that's game. GG. So team 1, 2-0. And yeah, not great. So now I am 3-3. So the last round is going to be important. Will I get a winning record or will I get a losing record? So yeah. So as usual, you should like this video and subscribe if you haven't, and make a comment. I love to hear from you guys. So that was it for me today. I'll see you next week for round number 7. This is Farmstead, out.